Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mom Talk. It is my pleasure to have both Scarlett and Patrick McCollum on today's Mom Talk show. And the topic is hashtag Giving Tuesday and hashtag Peace Giving, which will mainly focus on what these two social activists and peace learning leaders and scholars and musicians and founders of amazing peace training work are doing in today's world in bringing more peace and cultivating peace and character and fulfilling sort of our goal and our vision towards a more equal rights world for all and more peace and more I think higher consciousness and evolution. So Scarlett Rivera, welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you back on Mom Talk.
Thank you, Nelly.
And every time we sit together and we have a cup of coffee or tea together, I feel uplifted and truly more peaceful. So it's your presence and your being that has brought so much joy and peace into our world and our families and our community. But today we are going to talk about this very important topic of what it means to cultivate peace. What is peace to Scarlett Rivera, who's a world-renowned international musician, producer, composer, and she's done a lot of work in the fields of arts and music, but more importantly in the field of cultivating peace consciousness and peace training. And we're merging and joining with Patrick McCollum, who's the founder of the Peace Training and the Patrick McCollum Foundation. And we want to learn more about what it means to give today, what it means to be giving towards peace in not just monetary ways, but also spiritual and peace learning ways. And so Scarlett, we watched this beautiful clip of you playing the peace violin.
Correct, yeah.
Tell us about the peace violin.
Well, my whole life has been dedicated to uplift and unite others through music, but because it dissolves boundaries of economic and race and culture like no other vehicle. But I wanted to be of service in a broader way and reach more people on more specific topics. Kind of music is very general, and so when I was introduced to Patrick McCollum and had the opportunity to be asked to perform the World Peace Violin, that was an answer to a prayer to be of greater service. And I was very honored to play that particular piece at the Nobel Peace Prize Laureates Gala in Atlanta, Georgia in 2015. And that piece actually I wrote and composed a decade earlier to commemorate the people who perished in the Holocaust. So that is actually the meaning of that piece, is the great sadness of it. But I've also performed the peace violin at Central Park and also at the United Nations mission in New York City as well. Also, I've performed it at Lake Tahoe on Shakespeare stage, and to open that's a beautiful series to kind of merge nature and the arts. So I've had a chance to work with that violin and also have people, from heads of state and ambassadors to children, touch and bless that violin, so because it represents the whole world.
That's beautiful. So here we are. دوستان برای شما فارسی زبانان براتون بگم که سکارلت ریورا میوزیشن و وایولینیستی هستش که در به اصطلاح شاید 3-4 دهه گذشته کار موسیقیش رو و یا کار کامپوزیشنش رو گذاشته برای پیس و صلح و آوردن صلح جهانی و برای او این معنا داره که اون موسیقی رو که پرودوس میکنه یا کامپوز میکنه و اجرا میکنه در رابطه با صلح باشه و این موسیقی ویولون سکارلت رو که در اول برنامه تماشا کردیم موسیقی بود که سکارلت در جمعی که برای به اصطلاح زنان و مردانی که در راه صلح و نوبل پیس پرایس و یا اون صلح جهانی کار کردن و مدال صلح جهانی رو گرفتن و غیره، اون در اون جمع برای اون رهبران یا پیشروانی که در این راه فعالیت میکنن این موسیقی رو اجرا کرد، ولی در کنارش هم مطرح کرد که برای من خیلی خیلی مهمه که در چارچوب خانواده ها و فامیل ها و به اصطلاح محیطمون من این صلح رو یا آموزش صلح رو از طریق موسیقی و غیره پیش ببرم. برای همین سکارلت وقتش رو گذاشته برای موسیقی یاد دادن به بچه ها، به کودکان و نوجوانان و در چارچوب کارهای اجتماعی فعالیت میکنه و به اصطلاح به قول معروف سوشال اکتیویسم و اون فعالیت جدی اجتماعی رو همیشه همواره در کنار موفقیت‌های خودش در موسیقی جلو برده. ایشون از کسانی هستش که با خیلی از بزرگان موسیقی برنامه اجرا کردن. خیلی به اصطلاح موسیقی ایشون رو میتونین رو آیتونز پیدا بکنین اگر علاقه دارین که موسیقی ایشون رو گوش کنین. سکارلت ریورا روی آیتونز موسیقی های بسیاری از جمله Voice of the Animals به اصطلاح موسیقی که برای حیوانات و حفظ حیوانات و حفظ محیط زیست ایشون کامپوز کردن و اجرا کردن میتونین گوش بدین و برای کودکانتون به خصوص من میدونم بچهای خود من عاشق موسیقی سکارلت هستن و خیلی علاقه دارن به کار او به خاطر اینکه کامپوزیشن و جوری که اجرا میکنه موسیقیش رو به خاطر آوردن صلح و کالتیویشن صلح هستش و پیشبرد صلح هستش. من سکارلت رو در 2 دهه اخیر میشناسم و با کارهای او و همچنین او با کارهای من بسیار آشنا بودیم و هستیم و کار پیس ترینینگ رو ایشون در کنار به اصطلاح این فاوندیشن پاتریک مکالم با آقای پاتریک مکالم که ایشون رو اینترودیوس خواهیم کرد جلو بردن و پیش بردن. Patrick, it's an honor, it's a pleasure to have you on MomTalk. Welcome to MomTalk.
Well, thank you so much. And this is my second time, and I'm so impressed with your show and the things that you cover. I consider this really important because our children in particular are the future of our planet. And what we teach them and what we show them to be important will become the future for everyone.
That's right. I full-heartedly believe in that, and I think I was just sharing with our audience, with our viewers, that for the past 2 decades I've known Scarlett and of her work and the Brain Trust and the Peace Training sort of group. And it is an honor to know that you have been leading this. You are certainly a peace learning leader in consciousness and cultivating peace in families with what you do and offer to our community and globally. Tell us about your latest efforts, and for those who are watching, I know today is the Giving Tuesday or Peace Giving. Give us a little more information on how people who are watching can tap in, can join your efforts or learn and perhaps create their own groups if they're watching all the way from the Middle East.
Sure. So to start with, the Patrick McCollum Foundation for Peace is dedicated towards bringing peace to the entire planet. So we don't represent any particular country or point of view. We just represent all the people on the earth. And this will be my 50th year, a half a century, working towards peace-related topics. And the foundation is actually made up of a group of volunteers who do work all across the planet to create different kinds of scenarios and training in order to create a better world. Today is Giving Tuesday, and it's the day when people all over the United States, and I believe in other countries too, have an opportunity to donate to organizations that they feel tied to, that they appreciate their particular mission. So obviously, like all the other nonprofits, we're a volunteer organization, and all of our funds come from people like those listening to you and your audience. Those who might like to donate to our foundation, you can go to our foundation webpage, patrickmccollum.org. That's PatrickMcCollum.org, and you can read more about our programs and what we're doing. I wanted to go back just a little bit on Scarlett speaking about the World Peace Violin that she plays, because some people may not know exactly what it is, but it's a violin that's constructed of 100 fragments of wars and conflicts from around the world. So rather than being an ordinary violin, it's made of pieces that came from all across the planet that were involved in different kinds of conflicts. And it's also been blessed by over 1 million people all across the world, in the Middle East, in the Himalayas, South Pacific, people from South America, United States, Europe, all over the whole world, including many children have blessed it. One of the most profound moments for me was we were involved in part of a program to rescue child slaves in India, particularly young girls who were kidnapped as sex slaves. And a group of those young girls came and blessed the World Peace Violin with the idea that their voices would be heard each time that it's played, so that people would never allow the kind of things that had happened to them to happen to all of our children.
Wow. Wow, it certainly is important to know the narrative and the history behind the peace violence. So I'm going to take this time to translate. دوستان، در رابطه با به اصطلاح فاوندیشن آقای پاتریک مکالم که بیش از 50 سال فعالیت کردند و در چارچوب صلح و پرورش صلح در دنیا و در جهان این فعالیت رو ادامه دادن صحبت می‌کنیم، و اینکه امروز یا در این به اصطلاح هفته‌ای که می‌گذره یک روز به خصوصی رو اختصاص میدن برای اینکه به اون به اصطلاح سازمان‌های غیر انتفاعی که علاقه داریم یا هر کسی علاقه داره کمک رسانی بشه. و در رابطه با این کمک رسانی سازمان‌های بزرگتری مثل فیسبوک و یا بیل گیتس میلیندا اند بیل گیتس فاوندیشن، اونها این پولی رو که شما دونیت میکنین مچ میکنن. برای همین مهم هستش که در اوقات به اصطلاح تصمیم گیری و انتخاب و کمک رسانی انتخاب بکنیم که در این روز به خصوص بیشتر کمک بکنیم، چرا که دوبل میشه، این کمک رسانی 2 برابر میشه. این بخشی از گفتمانمون بود. بخش دیگه از گفتمان این هستش که آقای پاتریک مکالم توضیح دادن تاریخچه این ویولون و ویولون صلح و چرا اسمش ویولون صلح هستش. این ویولون صلح همون ویولونی هستش که در ابتدای برنامه خانم سکارلت ریویرا او رو می نواختند و موسیقی که کامپوز کرده بودند برای صلح جهانی که برای در چارچوب حمایت از هولوکاست به اصطلاح این موسیقی کامپوز شده بود، ایشون توضیح دادن که چرا اسم این ویولون صلح هستش و توضیح دادن که بخواد دلیلش این هستش که این ویولون از چندین صد تکه پیسا و به اصطلاح تکه های مختلفی که هر کدوم از اینا از یک کشور یا یک جایی آمده که در اونجا یا جنگ بوده یا کانفلیکت بوده، اختلاف و به اصطلاح سخت به اصطلاح آسیب‌های بسیار به بچه‌ها، کودکان وارد شده و غیره، و در اون محیط و در اون به اصطلاح مکانها این تکه ها جمع آوری شده و بعد این ویولون ساخته شده و در کنارش هم هر فرصتی که پیش آمده بیش از 1,000,000 کودک و نوجوان و خانواده این ویولون رو به اصطلاح دست زدن، دعا کردن و یا قصه ای رو که قصه آسیب اونها بوده بیان کردن و به امید این که هر موقع، هر زمانی که این ویولون زده میشه صدای اونها به دنیا رسیده برسه. و خب این بخش مهمی از آموختن ما، پرورش صلح هستش که بیاموزیم و بدونیم قصه پشت این ویولون صلح چه هستش. Very important to know these stories and to tell our children about these stories. I certainly am going to share this story, the story of the peace violin, with our children, and I can't wait to see their face lit up and for their wondering, souls and faces to get curious about the peace violin. Patrick, thank you for explaining the story behind the peace violin.
Yeah, so another thing that I thought that your listeners, watchers might be interested in is that each year the Patrick McCollum Foundation partners with another nonprofit, Children of the Earth, and we sponsor 50 refugee children to the United Nations each year for the International Day of Peace. One, to show them how the peace process works, but more importantly, to introduce them at a high level so that their voices can be heard about the things that they feel need to have take place in the country. And we also sponsor, the Patrick McCollum Foundation itself, each year sponsors 2 young leaders from different countries to meet higher level people at the United Nations. I often introduce them to people like the Secretary General or the head for the
And how does the application process take place? So if we have viewers or organizations or NGOs watching who are curious or wondering if they could apply for this position, how does that work?
In any case, what I wanted to say is that the young woman that we have selected so far is from Iran, and she's a student and will be going to the United Nations this year as our representative for the Patrick McCollum Foundation to meet with officials and be able to talk about the problems that she encounters and the thoughts she has about creating peace.
And so is that happening this year at the International Peace Day?
Yes, September 21st.
That's right.
Is National Day of Peace at the United Nations.
Yeah.
And so she'll be going this year representing us to be part of that program.
Wonderful. Well, we will definitely follow up with you and stay tuned so that we can share that story, that very important story of a citizen from Iran, a girl, or how old is she?
She's, I believe, 19.
Okay. So representing the youth from Iran, a female, women of the youth community represented at the UN, United Nations, on International Peace Day, telling and sharing her story of conflict and perhaps challenges. And we are going to follow up with you on that. Thank you so much. And others, if you are interested in joining this peace training or peace learning path, to cultivating more peace, certainly join Patrick McCollum's foundation. It's a great way to cultivate peace and globally to become more aware and active of what's happening around the world. And you certainly have a well-integrated way to bringing different disciplines together and cultivating peace from the ground up, starting with our youth and families.
Yes. So the peace training that we do, first of all, we've held the training in Europe, in Africa,
Yes.
In India, and here in the United States. And what we're wanting to do is extend it further for young people to be able to learn the actual skills that they need in order to have more control and more say in the world that's coming, for them as they grow up. What's unique about our peace training over anyone else is that all of the peace organizations in the world, from my perspective, address the symptoms of conflict. So in other words, it's a little like medicine. You have a cold and you take something to make you feel better, but you don't end a cold forever. People still get colds. Yeah. And what we're trying to attempt to do is to eradicate the origin of conflict. So rather than trying to fix up or create peace treaties and things like that, which we're also training about, we're trying to address the actual origin of conflict itself so that there won't be what we call the other. There won't be someone that whoever you are, can blame all the problems on the world as being the one who's responsible. Instead, we'd like to create a new narrative for the planet that there is only us. Us, as all human beings, every man, woman, and child on the planet is one family.
Wow, that's so profound. It's so crucial in understanding and really getting to that mindset and cultivating that mindset globally. So I'm going to take this time to translate what you just shared with us. دوستان در رابطه با پرورش صلح با آقای پاتریک مکالم فاوندیشن صحبت می‌کنیم، گفتمان داریم. ایشون در چارچوب پرورش صلح و اینکه چقدر مهم پایه صلح رو بریزیم و در خانواده، در مدارس، در جامعه به پایه صلح یا پای ریزی صلح توجه بکنیم. چرا که در گذشته و یا شاید در دهه‌های گذشته توجه روی به اصطلاح درمان کردن آسیب‌ها و صدمه‌ها و کانفلیکت‌ها بوده و به اصطلاح امروزه دولت و جامعه توجهش رو خیلی بیشتر در رابطه با پیشگیری و رفتن به سورس و پایه به اصطلاح پای ریزی صلح و اینکه چقدر میتونه کمک بکنه برای اینکه در آینده اون توجهی که ما شاید بیشتر روی یک نوع دینامیستی داشتیم که ما بودیم بر ضد دیگری یا کسی که از ما متفاوت بود یا کسی که اون به اصطلاح درد رو داره پیاده میکنه روی اون فردی که مظلوم هستش، ظالم و مظلوم، اون دینامیست ظالم مظلوم رو بشکنیم، این چارچوب اشتباه رو، غلط رو، و بذاریم این چارچوب رو در کنار اینکه ما با هم یکی هستیم و حالا بریم سراغ اینکه چگونه میتونیم پایه ها و پیشگیری ها و پرورش صلح رو از ابتدا پای ریزی بکنیم و این قدرتمند بودن رو و یا توانبخشی رو بالا میبره، هم در خانواده هم در چارچوب جامعه و اون چارچوب اجتماعیش. و این خب نکته خیلی مهمی که هستش که اگر سازمان ملل و UN در این چارچوب فعالیت داره میکنه، مطمئناً بر اساس تحقیقات و بر اساس به اصطلاح بررسی های بسیاری بوده که این شیوه پیشگیری و شاید درمان بسیار بیشتر کمک میکنه تا اینکه ما بخوایم فقط یه بندید و یا یک دوایی بدیم که این سرماخوردگی و یا این درد رو درمان بکنیم. So very crucial point in cultivating wellness, health, and mental health and the peace in families. I think it's always been sort of my focus, and I believe, yes, if we can cultivate consciousness and peace learning from the beginning, then we were successful in preventing a lot of the pain and suffering from happening in the future. And so, Scarlett, I know you have been involved with this peace training, or the frame of peace learning, peace training, for the past many, many years. I know it's been at least 2 decades that I've known you, that you've done this work very well, integrating arts and sort of consciousness and leadership, empowering women, empowering youth, the little girls, and our youth leadership. Tell us about your personal experiences and how you're related to the Patrick McCollum Foundation.
Well, as I said, as a individual musician and composer, I've done many things that have really elevated people and also and brought people together. And I've played in places like from Royal Albert Hall to Rikers Island Prison for maximum security prisoners. I mean, I love the fact that the Patrick McCollum Foundation brings about a conversation of equality and human rights, of honoring all people, empowering women and children, and they also address the environment, and because the children of the earth will inherit a very degraded environment as well. And so this took my individual efforts as a musician composer to another level, another level of teamwork and collaborating with others like myself, who really are passionate and care about what we're passing on to the next generation. And so through the Patrick McCollum Foundation and being chosen as the ambassador of the World Peace Violin, I have been able to reach many more people and tie in more specific subjects that I'm very passionate about. And also we have partnered with other foundations like Jane Goodall's Roots and Shoots, which has 1 million kids involved, and those kids are being trained through her foundation about caring about the planet in environmental ways, and also back to community and back to home and back to family. So it is through this work, through this foundation, I've found a greater voice than I had before.
Yeah, that's wonderful. When we can connect and find like-minded, especially in the leadership sort of circles, and integrating our work so beautifully as you have, Scarlett, with Patrick and the Patrick McCollum Foundation, it just brings a lot of joy. Personally, I have been touched and awakened by Scarlett, and now by Patrick, to be uplifted and to move into a higher elevated state of consciousness for the efforts that we put in and try in cultivating peace and character and bringing more peace to the world. And so I remember from the very early days that you and I met, I always had a close relationship with animals. I always felt very sort of connected, and there was a special bond between animals and my encounters with the animals. But your encounter, your friendship, your bond created and cultivated personally a much higher state of consciousness, to the point that I became so much more interested in getting in tuned and attuned and in sort of in the communication and cultivating more peace and bringing, taking care and caring for animals as just other beings who are just as valuable as we are. And I remember that equal rights kind of mindset towards animals was cultivated in me because of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it was beautiful because anyone who knows Scarlett, you know that she just is so focused on bringing, you know, a lot of peace and education and learning, peace learning about how we can coexist on this planet Earth with other beings, you know, the nature and animals and sort of this green world and blue world that we live in. And then you introduced me to the aquarium of the Pacific, and that was a subtle kind of introduction of, you know, so within those bonds and friendships and relationships, we are learning. There's a lot of peace learning that is very valuable. And I believe it will be a legacy, like you have passed on your legacy to all those families, all those children that you teach, you encounter, my kids, other kids, and they will carry on your voice of the animals and your voice of the sea animals and sea creatures and your voice of caring for the environment and feeling guilty. You know, I remember, I think I shared this with you, a time when there was a baby snake and
Yes.
I reacted because it was a reaction out of fear. My child was there, and so I just reacted. And to this day, you know, I feel like tremendous pain and guilt for doing that because, you know, it wasn't fair. And that consciousness is purely because of you. And yeah, it's been an honor to just learn and have this. So this is peace learning at many different levels. And I think for those of you who are watching, who like to contribute, who like to join, who like to learn more about Patrick McCollum Foundation, Patrick, you have brought such bright light to Mom Talk today. And I thank you for raising consciousness and awareness on not just the history and legacy of peace, but also what's happening right now and how people can get involved and help. Frankly, it's about becoming more active, embracing and the joy of giving and being active and cultivating peace. And you're leading, and we're so honored for your leadership and being here with you.
Yeah, you know, one thing I think that would be important for your show to know is we have the Patrick McCollum Foundation for Peace, that our core team, about the dozen people who actually run all the projects around the world, are all mothers and women, and women with children. And to see them balancing, you know, the executive director of my foundation has 5 children. And yet she runs our project across the whole world. And co-director has 2 children. And so, you know, it's amazing for me to watch them balancing family life, children, sickness, death, all the different things that they put up with, and yet donate their time towards something they feel so important for the future of their kids. And so one of the other focuses for the Patrick McCollum Foundation, one of our primary focuses is children and women's rights and women's issues. You know, so that's something I think is important. And if people want to donate to the foundation, understand that you're donating really to a group of women, mothers who have children, and women who have not yet had children, who are dedicated to making a difference in the world, and you can join them.
And that's so important. So if you're interested in cultivating and giving to equal rights, women's rights, children's rights, and leadership that supports or is behind those values, then you need to look up and learn more about Patrick McCollum's Foundation and his work, his global work, and the efforts that him and his friends have made over the past several decades in cultivating peace and bringing more peace into the world. Are there any updates or sort of any news that you'd like to share with us?
Well, one really exciting project that we're working on right now is the Patrick McCollum Foundation is partnering with several other partners to create what we call the One Humanity Institute. And the One Humanity Institute is we are building an international peace center at the Auschwitz death camp in Poland.
Mm-hmm.
And if all goes as planned, we will have an interactive museum, a conference center, peace trainings, and the potential for over 2 million people a year to go through the project that we're setting up. And so, like the World Peace Violin, what we're looking at is trying to take a place where some of the greatest harm or destructive behavior by human beings has taken place and create it into a transformational experience that when people walk out of seeing what has happened in the past and want to know what it is they can do to create a future that's better than that, we will provide the resources right there for them. And that project is currently fully in play, and we're traveling back and forth to Poland on a fairly regular basis. And Scarlett, hopefully, will be playing the World Peace Violin there shortly.
That's wonderful. That's great. We will definitely follow up with you on that. Tell us about the peace training. What is, the peace training?
So the peace training is a culmination of about 20 years of observations I've made, both in my own work in trying to bring peace to the world, but also in seeing what other peace organizations and peace leaders have done to contribute. And then we've taken and distilled all that down into currently a 6-hour training program, which we'd like to expand to 3 days. And this would be a program that would teach people all the basics of what's happened so far in the world to create peace, some of the ideas the United Nations and other organizations have come up with, but I think more importantly, to share with people what the true origin of conflict is. Mm-hmm. Where does all conflict come from, and how can we address that? And I think that when people take the training, they'll be really excited, because our idea is to empower the average mother, father, young person with the skills necessary to literally change the future of the planet. They don't have to depend on me or the Dalai Lama or Jane Goodall or the United Nations. They can take specific direct actions themselves that will lead to permanent change that really creates a world that we can all live in.
Great. So when do I sign up? How do I sign up? That sounds great.
So we're currently doing peace trainings, but part of our drive for Giving Tuesday that we're currently having a fundraising drive right now for is to get the additional funds necessary to, create PowerPoints, to train the instructors, who all except one person will all be mothers and women that will be traveling around the world to conduct these trainings, and then to obviously get them things like plane tickets and those sort of things. And so we're really excited about this peace training. It is different than anything anyone else has ever done before, and we really truly believe that it will be the thing that will make the difference.
That's great. And are there any children programs or enrichment programs offered for schools?
We actually are talking to 2 schools right now who want to have programs in their schools. One is 2nd and 3rd graders, and that is on the East Coast. And then we're also talking high school age, but we have already done programs for high school age kids in Slovenia and in Poland, and we're hoping to expand that into the Middle East and into Asia. And so, if you really want to create peace in the world, you got to start with our kids.
Yes.
Because they haven't fully bought into all of the narratives that we've all been taught, and it's much easier to help shift and shape them towards a world that everyone can be happy in.
That's right. And I certainly believe that the enrichment programs offered in schools are the greatest way to cultivate peace, because bringing training programs like yours and others into the schools, where after school or perhaps integrated within their academics and educational system, can plant those seeds early on and create opportunities for dialogue and the cultivation of peace, because every environment is going to have its own ways of cultivating peace, and to honor that and to value it and to create opportunities for growth in those environments, I think is a big responsibility of parents, educators, and perhaps those who are making those top decisions.
Well, after the first of the year, we will be announcing on our website some of the new programs that are going into play, and some of them will involve kids in schools. So if people keep a close eye on our website after January, we'll be updating some of the programs that will be available, and then we'll have contact information if people in your audience have a school anywhere. It can be in the United States, can be in Iran, Iraq, Egypt. It can be in England, wherever it is. If you let us know you'd like us to come your way, we will make that happen for you.
Right on. Awesome. That's the best news ever. On this Giving Tuesday, you gave us a huge present, a huge gift. And I thank you for that. So دوستان، بینندگان گرامی، در چارچوب آموزش صلح یا پرورش صلح در مدارس و در به اصطلاح آموزش و پرورش صحبت می‌کنیم. آقای پاتریک مکالم که بیش از 50 سال در این فیلد فعالیت کردند و آموزش و به اصطلاح ترینینگ، نه تنها از طرف سازمان ملل بلکه در فیلد، در به اصطلاح جاهایی که رفتن و این به اصطلاح تجربیات رو کسب کردن، ایشون شخصاً این پروژه رو لید میکنن و دعوت کردن از شما عزیزان، اگر در آموزش و پرورش هستین، در به اصطلاح جوامعی هستین که میتونین از این اطلاعات و این به اصطلاح سیستم های آموزشی بهره برداری بکنین، که مطمئنم میتونین، با ایشون تماس بگیرین و ایشون این پروگرام و این برنامه ها رو در اختیار شما خواهند گذاشت که بعد استفاده بکنین در چارچوب آموزش و پرورش صلح در جامعتون. What a beautiful and great gift to offer our viewers. So there you go. So please, 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 today is important. If you can, I will also post this on our social media pages, the Facebook page, Patrick McCollum Foundation, as well as MomTalk LA, as well as Scarlett Rivera, the composer, producer, and amazing musician, violinist. We are here together collectively trying to encourage you to give towards peace. So peace giving is today, and your dollars will be matched dollar by dollar by Facebook as well as Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation. And so it's a great opportunity to double up and give towards cultivating peace. So we urge you and encourage you to do that. Scarlett, tell us about peace and what peace means to you in your world.
Well, I've seen in my life how, through my life as a musician and also even working in environmental, for environmental justice, for wildlife and animals, that grassroots efforts really make a difference. Really connecting with people, connecting with individuals, connecting with kids and families. I'm glad you brought up my introduction to you of bringing you to the Aquarium of the Pacific. It is a miraculous place that, millions of people visit every year. But the important thing is all of those sea creatures most of them were rescued from the ocean. And they're on display just to bring your attention to the fact that their real life should not be in an aquarium. It should be in the ocean, and where they belong. So it's like a reminder that zoos aren't just about just blaying an animal just for display's sake. It is a call to your consciousness to think about what they really want and what they need, and the fact that they're intelligent beings. So from a musician point of view, of really reconnecting with people and watching a more peaceful society grow out of the outreach of my involvement in music, and how music just breaks through all barriers of, like I say, economic and gender, race. I mean, it just crashes through all of that and just simply dissolves. But again, through the Patrick McCollum Foundation, I've been able to lift it up to a higher level and to take that activism to another level.
That's wonderful. So through joining forces, collaborating, teamwork, and finding like-minded and I think PeaceLearning leadership that makes sense to us, we're able to unite and experience more, I think, effort in efficiency, being able to cultivate more peace through these authentic, real experiences. And like you said, it starts with your own neighborhood. It starts with your own friends and family. And so thank you so much. It's always an honor to have both of you on Mom Talk, and I look forward to more shows and more dialogues and conversations on getting updated, as well as personally becoming more involved with the Patrick McCollum Foundation. I would love to tap into that PeaceLearning and peace training program and learn more so that I can pass it on to my children and our communities. And so Patrick, thank you so much. Happy Peace Giving Day. I am honored to have you on Mom Talk and looking forward to future collaborations with you.
Well, thank you very much. And, may peace prevail on the earth.
That's right. May peace prevail on earth. And Scarlett, it's such an honor to have you on Mom Talk again. And I feel like you're a soul sister, and every time we meet and sit together and dialogue together, it just uplifts me, gives me hope. Honestly, I was having such a dark, hard day today this morning when I woke up. It was just really hard to get out of bed, and now I feel uplifted. I feel like, okay, we can do this.
Yes.
Peace will prevail. And so it is Giving Tuesday. It is Peace Giving. And just by listening to your stories of peace and your story of peace, Scarlett, we can bring more hope and change the world for the better. And so may peace and hope be with you. We're all in this together.
Yes.
Like Patrick, you said, it's us and us only. And we are united and together. So peace be with you.